of frames with side sway. The axial deformation of beam and column are small and are neglected in the analysis. See, I discussed that there are three types of forces in a structure or a frame. Generally, this axial deformation, either it might be in beam, so it is negligible. Due to bending, there will be high amount of bending moment and shear created at a structure. So there are three types of force which is acting in a structure. They are internal. When an external force is acting, the internal members are subjected to three types of stresses. What are they is, first one is axial, second one is bending, and third one is torsion. So these are the three major concepts and three major stresses in an object. So you should know to differentiate that. And final thing is torsion. So torsion is very negligible and axial force is also negligible. So the remaining two forces are the major part where you have to concentrate more. So when we are comparing these four types of forces, first if you are taking any object, that is, say for example if it is a beam, the beam consists of these four forces. What are they? Axial force, bending, shear and torsion. So while analyzing, you know that the axial force is very much less and torsional force is very much less in practical cases, where in a particular case or in a articulated structure you will be having those kind of forces. So you can take an example that force is acting exactly to the centroid of an object. In practical, the centroid of an object, if the force is acting, this case is very negligible. These columns are having here, you can see a column at right hand side. This column is carrying a beam at left hand side, and you don't have any force at the right hand side. What happens? Due to this unsymmetry, at one place you don't have a beam, at another place you have a beam. What happens? The load is fully acted at the left hand part of the column. So what happens? This creates a torsion, this creates a bending force. So this bending force is major in this column. So when you are talking about what are the internal stresses acting on a structure, you have to split one by one. Under what force the member is being subjected or it is being stressed. So stress is a concept you would have gone through in strength of materials, stresses and strain. So the stresses might happen due to these four type of forces. So you have to find for what type of force the stress is maximum. So here in this case, there will be bending at one direction. Take this as x-axis and you can take the 90 degree towards that, and this will be the y-axis. You have equal number of beam and the length is also equal. So the load will be equal, hence the load will be axial, and you will be having majorly axial at the y-axis, and at x-axis you will be having the bending force here. The load will not be axial. See, for a single column you might have different combinations. In certain cases, say for example if this column is the end column, end in the sense if it is there at the corner of the beam. Imagine that this is the end of the building. You will be having only two beams, that is at x-axis and y-axis. At the other side, that is of the negative side, you will not having any beam or column. What happens? Due to that, there will be biaxial bending. The bending will be higher. So due to that, there will be torsional force. So where the torsion plays a major role in the sense, if your loading is unsymmetry, if your loading is not even, if the beam at both x and y direction is not equal, if the load is not symmetry, what happens? Naturally the beam gets higher bending, and this will be the case. So in design of reinforced concrete also you might face that, the torsional resistance design. So first they will design for bending moment. You can monitor it, how they are designing a structure. So first in reinforced concrete design, they will take the load, what is the dead load and live load. It might be beam or column, you can take it any component. So after that you will be getting the bending moment and you will be applying factor of safety. You need a safety which is given by limit state of standards in IS 456. If you are using steel, it should have a material factor of safety of 1.15, and if it is a concrete, the factor of safety should be 1.5. So this should be used and your load should be multiplied. If a load is 5 kilonewton per meter square, you have to multiply with 1.5, that is load factor. Then what happens, 5 into 1.5 will be 7.5, and that will be your load. You should take the higher amount of load, then you will design. First thing, when you are designing, you will be designing for main reinforcement, that will be for bending, and the second case will be shear reinforcement. So this will, have you started designing the reinforced concrete structure, design of RC elements? Have you started designing? Check that the analysis and design are parallel. Whatever you learn here, the same will be implemented there. You check that you will be first designing for bending moment and next for the shear. For shear, you will place the stirrups or the shear reinforcement, and the third level will be torsional reinforcement. Why they are keeping at the last? They are designing for higher forces. So why we are discussing here is a side sway. A side sway will happen. First you should know what is sway, then you can find what is side sway. If a force is acting in a lateral direction of any member, then it is known as the sway force. Say for example, this building is being built here, all the loads will be vertical. That is, you are sitting here, this loads is a vertical load for the slab, isn't it? The slab is horizontal, whatever you are there, your force acting above it will be having a vertical force. What are the forces which can come in horizontal direction? This will be the sway force. So, due to the wind, the building has a lateral force, isn't it? Yes or no? The wind is always parallel to the horizontal member, and it is perpendicular to the vertical member. All the building carries lateral load due to wind. Can you say another example? What are the force which is acting horizontal to a building? Earthquake. When earthquake comes, what happens? And more in the horizontal direction, and vertical direction is lesser. So the earthquake creates the sway force. So that is what we are studying. Before this, we have solved 5 to 6 number of problems. In all the problem, you can see that the load is vertical. But here on, the load will be causing the structure to move in a horizontal direction. So that is the case we are going to study. So this is what the first point. The axial deformation of the beam and column are small, and hence they are neglected in the analysis. So what are the next force? First one I said is axial. What is the next force? Bending. So this should be sequence. First one is axial, second one is bending, shear and torsion. So these are the sequence of force. So first thing, what they are saying, the axial deformation of beam and column are small, hence they are neglected. Then what you should consider? Bending force. First point, they are restrained against side sway. They are restrained against side sway. If you are providing any member particularly to eliminate the horizontal force, then the member will not get sway. Then second thing is, if the frame geometry and the loading are symmetrical. Whatever load is acting in a structure, if they are symmetrical, which is what I explained, if both the direction, the span of the beam, member size, load, everything is same, then you will be having the symmetrical load. And the third point, it is given as, in general, the loading will never be symmetrical. In practical cases, if you are building any structure, the load, particularly for building, that is residential building or commercial, whatever might be the classification of building, the type of load will not be symmetrical at all the points. Hence, one could not avoid side sway in frames. The portal frames may sway due to one of the following reasons. Earlier we discussed how the sways are restrained, how the sway can be eliminated. Here we are discussing what are the cases where the sway occur. I already highlighted that sway is a force which is acting lateral to the element, and this creates the member to deflect horizontally. The horizontal deflection is called sway. So you have to understand that this is a technical name. Whenever I am talking into the concept of sway, you should understand that horizontal deflection of a member is known as sway. Okay, what causes the member to deflect horizontally? First point is eccentric or unsymmetrical loading on the portal frame. This is a portal frame where you are sitting here. Your structure is a portal frame. It consists of beam and column. When they will call a structure as portal frame, it should consist of beam and column. Next thing is unsymmetrical outline of portal frame. If your frame has unsymmetrical outline, say for example I am cutting the structure into two halves, the two half of the structure should be equal. If I am cutting the structure here, see this span has a 12 meter. If I am cutting at 6 meter, I can see the same column and the same length at the left hand side, and at the right hand side also I am having the same height, same dimension. Hence this portal frame is symmetrical. If any frame at one side you have 3 meter and other side if you have 4 meter, what happens? The length of the column varies at different end. Hence this creates a unsymmetry, and due to the unsymmetry what happens? The structure sway. Next thing is different end condition of column at the portal frame. Take this as example. The column, if I am cutting this section into two half, what happens? The left hand side half has 12 meter and right hand side half also has 12 meter. The length is same and the material is same. Whatever material, this is steel, is also steel. And say for example, if you have 12 meter at one end and at other end if you have 13 meter, then it creates a unsymmetry. Due to this unsymmetry, the structure might deflect horizontally. That is, the sway could be created. This is what it is indicated. And if the end condition of the column of the portal frame are different, if one end is fixed and other end is hinged, what happens? This creates a sway. And next point is non-uniform section of members of frame. One column might be 0.3 meter by 0.3 meter and other column if it is 0.3 by 0.45, and your cross section is varying. So due to this varying cross section, you might have side sway. And point number 5, this is direct. Horizontal loading on a column of a frame. If a direct horizontal load is there in a frame, then the column will sway. This load might be wind or earthquake. And next point is settlement of support of the frame. If one of the member is settling, so you might have read in newspaper that building is being settled in soil. So uneven settlement will have. In Bangalore, before 2 years, we saw that case. The building got settled for 1.5 feet at one end. So the building might have different number of columns. At one end, the building is settled for 1.5 meter. So 1.5 feet. So that due to that, what happens? The building got toppled. So if there is any settlement, then the structure will not stand at vertical. It directly sway. So this is another cause for the sway of the frame. Settlement of support. There could be settlement. Generally, the settlement should be within the permissible limit. That is 15 mm to 25 mm. The structure can settle. If it is settling at equal amount of magnitude, then it is acceptable. If one column is not at all settling and if other column is settling more than 40 mm and 60 mm, if it's keep on settling, then this creates additional moment to the structure. So what happens? Due to this additional settlement, the structure gets side sway. Generally, you can imagine that if one of the support is tilting down, what happens? Side sway. So this is the case. The settlement could happen, but it should happen uniform towards all the column. If it is not, then the sway will occur. And the last point is a combination of above. If there is any one or two combination of the above, then you might have the side sway. This is the case here. We are going to analyze. This is an example. You have a member which is at point A it is fixed, at point D is fixed, and you have a load. See, the load is not acting exactly at the center of the frame. So what are the cases a frame could have a side sway? Non-uniform section or load. If you are cutting this section, so which point is that? First point. What it is written here? What is the first point? Eccentric or unsymmetrical loading. Can you read that? Eccentric or unsymmetrical loading. What do you mean by unsymmetrical loading? If the load is not acting at the center of the member, then the sway is created. So due to this load which is not acting at the center, the frame gets a side sway. The amount of sway is being indicated here as delta here, and at both the ends you can see the deflected shape of the frame. So due to this eccentric load here, what happens? This frame has an eccentric and deflected shape here. You can see this eccentricity here. This is uneven deflection. Okay, take down the next point. So below that you draw this picture. You can understand. So after that 7 cases you draw this picture. In the previous problem, if you have observing that the moment at the joint B and C will be same, but in this case the load is eccentric. What will be here is the moment BC will be having, say for example, 10 kilonewton per meter. The moment at the joint C will be 7. It might be 7 and 10. You might have that difference. So this difference is due to unsymmetrical loading. Okay, now let us see how to analyze this type of frame. Take down a problem. Determine the moments at each joint of the frame as shown in figure. EI is constant. See, in the given data, they will not indicate that this frame is under sway force or not. You have to find that. So can you find that this beam or this frame carries a sway? First one, support conditions are not at the same level. So the level of supports are not at the same, isn't it? The second thing is you have two different length, and what is the second thing? You have a horizontal force here. If any horizontal force is acting in a structure, then you will have a sway force. See, there are two different reasons here in this problem. That is what the 7th point. What is the 7th point? A combination of the above. So you have two number of combinations here. So it is not, first of all, it is not symmetrical. If you cut this section, the left hand side is different and right hand side of the structure is different. And the second point is you are having the horizontal force. When you are having a problem in a university exam question paper, they will be not indicating that this is a sway analysis or not. You have to find that and you have to solve by yourself. So all the units in terms of kips, K is known as kips and feet. So this is 12 feet and this is 18 feet. So you no need to bother about the units. The forces can be taken as Newton or kips, and the distance can be measured in terms of meter or feet. Now we know that this structure will deflect in this form. As an analyst, you can find what will be the deflection due to this force. If a structure is applied by 40 kilonewton load. Before applying the load as an analysis, you can say that this much will be the deflection. So the deflection will be occurring here. So can you tell right now, if I am applying 40 kilonewton horizontal force here, what will be the deflection of the frame? Can you tell right now? Without analyzing, you cannot say certain things. This is important when you are building a high-rise structure. In Saudi Arabia and in United Arab Emirates, there are large number of structure which have multi-storied or high-rise structure. Super tall structure and mega tall structures are also available. What happens? Due to the wind, the structure will deflect to certain horizontal deflection. Definitely, if you have experienced that, if you are climbing up into a 50 to 60 story structure, you can experience that vibration when you are standing. So, have anyone visited the UAE or Dubai or Singapore? You have those kind of structure. You can climb that 40 story structure and you have a ticket for that. You have to buy the ticket, and if you have gone to that 50 or 60 story, you can feel the difference. What is the amount of wind force? If you are looking into a 3-story or 5-story structure, you cannot imagine the intensity of wind. If you are climbing up and if you are climbing into 60 or 70 story structure, then you know the amount and weightage of the wind. Wind is a large force. Much of the material which are spent to eliminate the wind force in tall story structure. So that is why this topic is kept at the next level. So this is next level of analyzing. So before that, you analyzed what will be the bending moment and what will be the shear force. But currently, you are going to find the deflection here. What will be the horizontal deflection? If you could find here, you can implement the same concept into a multi-story structure. You can build a 100-story structure, that is G plus 100. You can analyze what will be the deflection. The code gives H divided by 350, that is the drift ratio. There is a concept called drift ratio. What do you mean by that? A ratio of H by 350. What do you mean by H is the height of the building. If you are building a structure for a height of 100 meter, say for example, I am imagining 100 meter of a structure. What will be the single story height? What will be the height of a single story generally? How many meters? 10 meters. Dear engineers, your imagination should be improved. 3 to 4 meter. This class will be having a height of, if it is a public structure, the minimum height is 4 meter. If it is a residential or a civil occupied structure, it will be 3 to 3.2 meter. If you are taking 100 story structure, that is 100 meter structure, divide that by 3, you will be having 33 floors, isn't it? 100 divided by 3 will be 33 number of floors. What is the prescribed limit? Height is 100 divided by 350. What is the answer? 0.3.28. Yes. See, the code prescribes that your structure can deflect 0.28. That is 0.28 meter of deflection is permissible. For a 33 story high structure, the structure can deflect up to 0.28. That is how many centimeters? 28 centimeters. So if you are placing a 1 feet scale, if you are having a long size scale, that much of deflection is permissible. The code gives the standardization. If you are building 66 number of story, what could be the deflection? 0.28 into 2, 0.56. So your structure can deflect 2 feet. Around 2 feet your structure can deflect. Say for example, Burj Khalifa is how many floors? 860 meter. 860 meter divided by 350. 350. 2.45. If you are standing at the top of the Burj Khalifa, the deflection will be 0.25 is from that window. You can imagine up to this. From that window, the building will deflect this much of deflection. You can imagine if you are seeing down, it will not be straight. Your structure will be deflecting. Imagine that this is the permissible limit. The code allows that this much of deflection is permissible. If your building have more than that deflection, it is not permissible. There plays an important role in the code book. So the code book gives the guideline how much the deflection you might have. It is not required to construct the building and check the deflection. Here itself you can check. You can draw the Burj Khalifa's frame and you can put the Young's modulus and material constant, and here itself you can say that this one will be the deflection and we should have to revise the structure. See, the Burj Khalifa is being designed by ETABS software. The same software I am teaching you. The world's tallest structure which is being designed by which software? The same software I am teaching to you. Understand the importance. See, certain things need certain application. Whatever application you are using, which is being used by the professional, and they are taking it to the industry and they are following. Whatever they are doing in real time, you take it that and you also practice that. Surely one day you will be one of the person who are designing those kind of structure. Right now you are a small kid. Right now you might be a teenager, but if time is elapsing, you might be the one of the person who is a designer for those kind of a structure which is admired by everyone. Okay, so these are the starting point of that. Right now we are imagining what is the horizontal force. So currently this structure have a horizontal force of 40 kips and you can find the horizontal deflection. So take down this problem and draw this diagram. And first thing you have to do is the load applied directly to the joint B and therefore no fixed end moment will be acting. What is the first step? Step 1. Finding the fixed end moment, isn't it? So you don't have the fixed end moment. Why? So you have to take each and every member separately. A, B should be separate and BC should be separate and CD will also be another member. If you are splitting these members, do you have any load? The load is only acting at the joint, isn't it? You don't have any load at the member. So the fixed end, first step, step 1 is finding the fixed end moment. So the first step will be 0 here. Then what is the second step? Finding the slope deflection equation. So you have to take the step 2. In order to find that, you will be having the additional formula here, psi AB. So you have to put the symbol as psi AB, suffix AB. Which is a ratio that is delta by 12. What is delta here? Delta is the deflection. We are not knowing the amount of deflection. At one end you will be having delta by 12 and at the other end you will be having delta by 18. So these are the ratios. This ratio highlights the magnitude of the moment. Both the terms are positive since the chord members of AB and CD rotate clockwise. So this frame rotate clockwise, hence it is taken as positive here. And by this ratio, you know psi AB by psi DC ratio. So this is D to C, this is A to B. If you know this ratio, you can equate and you can say that psi AB will be equal to 18 by 12 into psi DC. So this is the first step. This is the relative deflection. The step number 2 is slope deflection equation. So you can write MAB equal to, why fixed end moment is 0 here? Because there is no load acting in the structure. You can see that between A and B you don't have any load, hence MFAB will be 0 here. And what is the formula? 2EI divided by L. So what is the length of A and B? Is 12 feet, and 12 is written here, equals 2 theta A. So here you should use theta A due to the fixity. So A is fixed and hence theta A will be 0 here. It is written as 0, and here you have a hinged end. In a portal frame, always the portal hinges where the beam and column connects, it is considered as a hinged support. You will be having theta B and hence theta B is written here. Also in this problem, you will be having theta B and theta C. There will be slope at these two joints, and at the joint D you will be having 0 slope. Minus 3 delta by L. What is the delta? This is the component which we have identified earlier. So delta is the deflection component, and here we will use psi AB. Why? Because this is the member of AB. So you are just now calculating AB, and AB is 18 by 12 psi DC, which we have written here. Psi AB equal to 18 by 12 psi DC. Hence this component is written here. And you can simplify this, you will be getting this equation 1. Similarly for MBA, 2EI by L in bracket 2 theta B is the formula, plus theta A will be 0 here, minus 3 delta by L. And delta component is substituted here, plus 0. In case of member B to C, this is a horizontal member, and the formula will be 2EI by L, where the length here is 15 feet. You can take it down, this is 15 feet. B to C, write it as in the drawing, this is 15 feet. So 2EI by L, 2 theta B plus theta C minus 3 into 0. This is a horizontal member, you will not have any deflection. If any horizontal load is applied, the vertical member only deflects. You can see at both the ends, the horizontal member does not deflect, it just displaces from one place to another. There is no deflection, only displacement. You will be getting this next equation. And you can write it for MCB. The values will be same. Instead of 2 theta B, here you have to use 2 theta C plus theta B minus 3 into 0. So this will be the equation number 4. And finally C to D, 2EI by L, here the L is 18 feet. In bracket 2 theta C plus theta D. So theta D will be 0, since D component is fixed, minus 3 into psi DC. Here there is a component of D to C. This element is a component of D to C. Directly you can substitute D to C. Whereas in the member A to B, you have to write psi AB. What is psi AB? We have already identified here. Psi AB is 18 by 12 DC. So hence it is not written here. You can see the similarity here. See, the unknown here is theta c and theta b only. In whatever might be the equation 1, 2, 3, everywhere you can see only two components, that is theta b and theta c. And the other deflection component is written in terms of psi dc only. In terms of member AB or member DC, you can see here it is written in terms of psi dc. Here, if you getting all this equation, you have three unknowns. What are the unknown here? Theta b is an unknown, then theta c is another unknown, and finally the third unknown is psi dc. So these are the three unknowns here. In previous problem, what is the difference between sway analysis and non-sway analysis is, you will be having additional one equation. Before that, you will be having only two equations to solve. It might be theta b and theta c, or you will be having only one equation. But here in this problem, you will be having three number of equations. Why? Because this component, what is this component? This is deflection component, this is due to sway. So due to the sway, you will be having three number of unknowns. Right now you have written the slope deflection equation. You have to note that how many members are here. If there are three members, then you can understand that there will be six equations. Yes, next step is equilibrium equation. Now by this problem, you can tell the equilibrium equation. What are the equations? There are two theta, that is theta b and theta c. So hence you will be having two number of equilibrium equation. What are they? At the joint B, you are having a theta. What are the members here? B to A and B to C. That is written here, MBA plus MBC. And next member is C. This is theta C, C to D and C to B. So this is the second equation. You already know this MBA component. So what is MBA? You have the component here. MBA is EI 0.33 theta B minus 0.75 psi DC. So this is the component here. And you have to plus B to C. So both the component you are having, just you have to add. If you add these two component, you will be getting an equation. You should add MBA and BC. I need that equation. Similarly, MCB and CD. So you have the slope deflection equation, just you have to add these two components. Keep that as capital 1 and capital 2 equation. So after adding that, you will be getting an equation. Keep that equation as capital 1 and the second equilibrium equation as capital 2. Now you can take down the next equilibrium equation, that is summation of f of x equal to 0. This is the additional equation which is being introduced. Why this equation is introduced is, see, there is a force which is acting in this member, and what you have to do is summation of f of x equal to 0. You have to make this equilibrium with respect to horizontal force. What is x? X is the horizontal axis. You can see here, this force is acting in x direction. What you have to do is, you have to equilibrium this force. Sum of horizontal force equal to 0. So what is the force acting here? 40 K is the force which is acting right hand side. So you will be taking plus 40. And what are the support here? So here you have a fixed support. For a fixed support, how many reactions are there? 2 or 3? 3 number of reactions. It will be having a vertical reaction, horizontal and a moment. So if any force is acting here, which reaction is going to take? There is a reaction at A and reaction at D. So in both the support you will be having a horizontal component, isn't it? So you will be having HA, that is horizontal component of A and horizontal component of D. So that is written here. See, there is a component which is written VA, and this is VA and this is HA, and third component is moment. So you will be having three number of component at A and D. So if any force is acting right hand side, this component will take care of the force. So your equilibrium equation will be plus 40 minus VA minus VD. So why it is written as minus? Because if a force is acting at right hand side, your support reaction should be at left hand side. It should be opposite to that, hence it will restrain that force. This will be equal to 0. Now another unknown is VA and VD. So what is VA and VD? What is the component here? This is the B component. You have to take moment at B. This member, so it is written separately here. This is point A and this is point B. So you are having two moment, that is MAB and MBA. If you are taking moment at point B, how to take moment here? You will be having anti-clockwise moment of MAB, hence it is written is minus MAB, and you will be having another moment of MBA. So next component is you are having a reaction here. If you want to take moment at point B, how to take moment? Force into distance. So what is the force? Which is VA into the distance is 12. So you will be having 12 VA. I am taking down this 12 at right hand side, hence you will be having VA as MAB plus MBA divided by 12. So this is the equation. Similarly, for the member C to D, imagine that this is a single member. You are having two moment at this member. What are they? MDC and MCD. So when taking the moment at the joint C, this is minus, MDC is minus, and plus MCD divided by 18. So what is this 18? If you are taking moment at point C, VD into the distance is 18. So load into distance will be the moment, and you have taken this 18 outside, you will be getting VA and VD here. If you know this component, you have already know this equation. What is MAB? MAB is already written here. MAB is 2 into 0.167 theta B minus 0.75 psi DC. So you have to substitute this component. So you know MAB and MBA. If you substitute that slope deflection equation, you will be getting VA, and if you substitute these two components, you will be getting VD. So you just tell me the value of VA and VD here. What it is written at the next step is 40 plus, so what is this answer here? Since it is minus, you have a minus here at VA, this both will become plus, and MAB plus MBA divided by 12, hence you are having a VD moment MDC and MCD divided by 18. So here you have to substitute the slope deflection equation. Substitute the slope deflection equation and tell me the equation. You will be getting three number of equation. This is equation capital 1, this is equation capital 2, and this is equation capital 3. So tell me these three equations. See here, instead of this bracket they have written it as minus here. Both MAB is anti-clockwise and hence it is minus, and MBA is also anti-clockwise, both are minus. You can take the minus outside this equation and you can write MAB plus MBA. So this negative will become positive here and this negative will become positive here. Since both the components are negative, you are taking the negative outside. Are you getting this three equation? These are the three equations which you will be getting after simplifying 7, 8 and 9. In this three equation you are having common unknown. What are the unknown? Theta b, theta c and psi dc. So you have three equations and three unknown. By using the calculator you can solve. You will be having a mode for that. Press the mode, you will be getting equation, and in equation the degree of unknown is 3. You have to press the 3 and you simply have to substitute this value 0.6, 0.133, 0.75. Like that, if you are keep on giving the inputs, you will be getting the 3 answer, or else you can solve by conventional method. So check that these values you are getting. If you need MAB, you have to substitute theta b. Now you have the value of theta b and psi dc. 375, isn't it? 375, if you substituting, you will be getting MAB, and MBA. Similarly, you have to substitute all the values in order to get the respective moment. So if you are substituting, you will be getting this value MAB, MBA, MBC. Here you can note that at the point B you are getting two moments of equal intensity but opposite direction, that is opposite sign. You will be getting the value of minus and plus, value of same intensity. Why? Because this is a joint. Here you will be having theta and this is an equilibrium condition. MBA and MBC will be equal, and similarly at the joint C you are having C to D and C to B. You can note that both the values are equal but opposite, 94.8 and 94.8 you will be getting here, and finally MDC is minus 110 kip feet. Note that in the given data they have given the unit of kips K. Small k is known as kips, capital K N is known as kilonewton. You have to differentiate that, and it is given in feet. So you have to give the answer in terms of kips feet. If the force is given in kilonewton and this is in meter, the unit of moment will be kilonewton meter. Next step is drawing the bending moment, and this is the final end moments. What you got is minus 208 kips feet at AB. So AB is negative moment, that is anti-clockwise. Hence, this direction is known as anti-clockwise. So you have to first draw this symbol, and B to A, what is the moment here? This is negative moment. Hence, the same anti-clockwise you have to draw. So this is an arc of anti-clockwise. If you twist this member both at anti-clockwise, what will happen? This member will go. If you are twisting at this direction, at this member, at this point it will be extended like this, and if you are twisting at B to C at anti-clockwise, the member will twist like this, and hence you will be getting bending moment drawing for member AB and BA is, this is the bending moment diagram. And for C to D, what is the symbol here? CD is negative and DC is also negative. So how to draw negative? So this is the negative direction, and both the negative direction is written here, and if you twist this member, how it will twist? So this will be your bending moment diagram. So at this point this member will go at right hand side, at this point this member will go at left hand side. So due to the moment, so this is the bending moment diagram. At AB, you are having 208, so this is A to B, this is 208. At B to A, this B to A, you are having 135. Similarly, for C to D, this is 94 of anticlockwise, and D to C is 110, D to C is 110 is written here. What is the remaining term? BC and CB. How to write that? While drawing, see, both are positive. Positive in the sense, this will be positive is taken as upward, so the bending moment is written in terms of upward direction. At one end you will be having 135, at other end you will be having 94. So this is higher and you can connect the joint. So this is the bending moment diagram. Since you are not having any load, you will be not having the positive bending moment, only negative bending moment will be there. In certain cases you would have taken as simply supported beam. Why we are not taking here? Because you don't have any load. See, the only one load which is acting at the joint, at the member you are not having any load. Hence the positive moment will be 0 at all the members.